Okay, well, I realize now that I completely forgot to make the trees. So let's do that real quick. It won't take long, and I just found a new way to make it even better. Let's just start by coming out of my camera view. Look at my awesome scene. That's fantastic. Might actually move the train this way. Oops. Control. There we go. I can move it. Yeah, just that way, just a bit. Away from the mountains. Okay, the way we're going to make our trees are going to be really simple trees. And then we're going to scatter them along the mountains and the valley. Let's just go add mesh cylinder. We'll pull it out here a ways, and we'll do a isolate. Let's go into my modeling mode here. One of the first things I like to do when modeling something like this, because we're going to be doing a little bit of modeling, not really, but still just mainly moving primitives around. But let me make sure I turn on my screencast keys. That's all good. Okay. I want to move my origin down to the bottom of my cylinder that I just made, so that I can easily put my tree at the 0, point of the ground. It'll also make, when we do the scatter, it'll make it work better. And I do that right up here where it says options. I can click that options and say click origins. Now I can move my origin wherever I want. And I really just want to pull it straight down in the Z axis and put it down here at the bottom. But I don't want to guess, okay? I want to snap it directly down there to the bottom. And I can do that up here in my snapping tools. If I change my snapping over to vertex, and you really want to change this over here to active. Now when I pull this down, if I hold down my control key, I'll snap to one of those vertices there. And now if you look, my pivot point is directly in the center because I only pulled it down. I didn't move it in the X or the Y, just in the Z. And now it's snapped to the bottom of that thing. Now I have to make sure I come back up to options and turn that back off again. And now my pivot is directly in the middle. And if I come over here to my little menu and I look at the item on the Z axis, if I put 0 right there, my object is exactly on the 0 level of the Z axis. So now if I come back out of my isolate mode, you can see that object is sitting directly on the ground right there. So now when I scale, it's going to scale up. And it won't scale down below the surface, only up above. So let's scale this up. Oh, I don't know, let's move it over by our train so we can kind of get a relationship between it and the train. Trees are... Whoa, I moved. I want to scale. Scale that up. That's about yo. Hey, let's just pick 65. That is my location, dumbass. 10. Okay. And let's scale it in this way so it's nice and thin. Yeah, 0.5. Okay, so I'm going to isolate again just so I can work on just this object. And now I'm going to add mesh a cone. I'm going to frame up on that cone, and I want to do the same thing. I want my 0, point of my cone, or my origin of my cone, to be right there at the very bottom. So if I come up to options, origins, I'm already got my vertex snapping on. So then when I pull this down in the Z, hold down control and snap to that bottom vertices, boom, there it is. So now I can just turn that off. And now that thing is snap down there. So again, I can come up here in the Z, put that 0, boom, it is now directly on the ground. Let's go ahead and just pull this. Let's put that in the 0, spot. This as well. So we're just working in the 0 spot. Let's looking straight down at this. I'm going to scale this out this way. I don't know. Let's just see how far we got. Let's go more. Where we at? 4. Let's go 10. We'll start it that big. So I'm still 1 there. But now if I pull that up, let's go 5. So we'll start that high. I'm going to duplicate this up in the Z, so I'll just let go. I did that right click thing and pull it up. Let's look at it in this view. Now I want my scale. Let's just go for 8. Just duplicate that again. Right click, pull up. Now in my scale, I'm going to go for 6. I'm just typing again. I'm not even entering the scale tool. I'm just typing over here in my scale. So Control D, right click, pull up. Let's go for 4. Control D, right click, pull up. Let's go for 2. We're going to call that good. Rather than try to, well, I guess I'll just scale this down. It won't be that big because I got my pivot point right here at the bottom. When I scale, it's just going to pull down perfectly, and we'll just put it somewhere in there. And there we go. We have a tree. That is a stupid looking tree, isn't it? Oh well. Maybe what we'll do to help unstupefy this is we'll just grab them all together, and I'm going to go Object, Join. So now that's all one object. I'm just going to hit R to scale, and maybe I'll scale it up like that. That's a little better looking. Yeah, I'm going to call that right. Okay. There's my tree. So if I come out of isolate mode, I have a tree on my land here. I'm going to move it over here. Personally, I think that tree might need to be bigger. Let's go back to this mode again. Move it over here by the train again. F2, frame up on it. Yeah, let's make it bigger. And I'm going to do it in all directions. Bigger. Like that. Yeah, that's a little better. So before I scatter my tree, if I go into my shaded mode, I can see that my tree has no coloring. I'll pull that over here again. Let's isolate it. Let's go into 3, or let's just stay 4. I'm going to go to my textures. I'm going to add 2 slots, one for the trunk and one for the leaves. This one here for the trunk is going to be brown. This one here for the leaves is going to be green. So now I need to, or the needles, I guess they are. So if I go into 3 mode and I select, I'm going to select all. And then I'm going to do a shift or a control select and just deselect. Actually, if I do it Alt X, Control, doink. That should be, no, for some reason, 3 in X-ray mode. Let's do Control. I know what it is. Let me go into this view. Select. Oh, here we go. Why is it not working? Select that. There we go. So that was my right brackets. Just the key to the left of my backslash, which is just up above the enter key. So I select one of the faces here, then I hit my right bracket, and that selected all that. I'm just going to hide that. Same here. Do this again. Right bracket, hide, select this. Actually, let's just try it here. Right bracket there. I think that should have gotten it all. Here, let's do this. Alt X, this one, right bracket, Control H to hide. Now this, right bracket, come out of my thing. Did it get the top faces? It did. And the bottom, so that one's brown. Let's do an Alt H, so it's all there. So now I know that worked. Select one of those, right bracket. Select invert, so now I just have those green, assign. If I come back here, we have green tree and brown trunk. Boy, I made that harder than it needed to be, didn't I? Alright, let's come out of our isolate, grab my tree. So to do this, what I want to do is I want to scatter this tree along this ground, and there's a plugin to do that, and it's free. It comes with Blender. If I go up to Edit, I come down to Preferences, and then I'm here at my add-ons, and there's a little search up here. And if I type scatter, I can select this scatter objects. I'll save my preferences, close that. And now, over here under Tool, there is this Object Scatter thing, and there's also under Object, there is a Scatter Objects command. Before I run the Scatter Objects command, I have to set the settings. I'm going to set the density of this. The density controls how many trees get painted onto my object. I don't want this to be very dense. I'm going to set it to 1. The radius is how far around my from my line that I'm going to be painting. I'm going to make this 5 meters. Just test. Scale I'm going to bring up all the way. I want it to be the full scale of the object, but there will be a randomness of that scale, 80% smaller or 80% bigger. I am not going to use the normal rotation because I don't want my trees to come out of the ground here at an angle. I want them to all grow straight up, and of course these normals are facing out, so I want them just to go straight up. I also don't want them to rotate because they'll actually rotate in this direction. So again, I'm going to stop that, turning off that rotation. They will still, however, rotate around that axis, so it'll be fine. Offset is how far above the ground. I don't want it to be above the ground at all. So this is it. I got all my settings right. I'm going to grab my tree. I'm going to grab my ground. I'm going to do this from a top view. I'm going to go Object, Scatter Objects. Now it's waiting for me to paint. And I'm just going to start painting one line there. Oh, I think I'll do another line down through there. Well, whatever, I got a little. I'll do a line down through here. Let's do a line right there. Another line right there. And then when I'm done, I just hit enter. Oops, enter. What did I get? Well, that didn't turn out very good, did it? So I'm going to do a Control Z. I didn't like that. I think I need my radius. So I want my density to be even less, 0.5. Let's go with my radius to be 20. I think everything else is still good. Let's try this one more time. Do that. F3. Hit A for all. Objects. Scatter objects. And this is what I had to do when I tested this. I just had to kind of try it again and again until I got it the way I wanted it. Let's try that one. Enter. Still not getting the spread that I want. It's Control Z. So let's get this radius to like 100. Let's just make it really wide. 3. Grab my tree. Grab my land. Object. Scatter objects. A for all. There we go. Now they're spreading. Now if I look through my camera, that is not too bad. But I can see now. I'm gonna just delete those. Whoa! We'll just Control Z. One more time. Select that. Select that. A for all. Object. Oh, object. Scatter objects. I thought that looked pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and do this right through there. Keep this fairly dense through here. And then here, I'm just going to kind of come here like this and leave myself a path for the camera. Now we'll go enter. Now let's look through my camera. Oh, that looks awesome. So then my one little lone guy out here, I can actually hide it, Control H. But now I have trees in my mountain, I got trees down here. Let's grab the train. Let's do a control, well, let's see, what's the easiest way to grab just the train? I'm gonna grab all of that. Then I'm going to do Control that. That's all I have. So now I got the train. I'm going to do W. I'm going to move my train back. So I'm really seeing the engine. That looks pretty good. Let's look at that from, let me do a save. And look at that from this view. See what happens when we render that. So that's not bad. It's not great though. So let's do our final render. We're going to change our render engine from Eevee to Cycles. And I kind of don't like to be in Cycles mode when I do it. I'm just going to come down here. I'm going to change this from CPU to GPU. Then I come down to my denoiser, and under render, I'm going to choose optics. Save that again, just in case this crashes. You ready? Let's just hit render. Render image. Okay, well there's that. I don't like it. I don't. There's a lot about that I don't like, and I'm gonna make some changes on this video, and then we'll render it one more time. And I think these changes will make it look a lot better. Okay, let's just get this part over with. Here we go. First of all, I think my mountain is just way too tall. I think I went a little crazy with my mountain. So I'm just going to grab my R, scale it down in the Z, pull it down. Let me look at it through my camera here. That looks so much better. Like, yeah, right about there in the middle. So of course now all my trees are floating in the air, so we're going to have to do our scatter again. Look, it's all in its own collection. I'm just going to right click on that, delete hierarchy, and they're gone. Come out of my camera view. Now remember, I hid my original tree right over there, so I can re-scatter those trees. But before I do that, one of the other things that I'm really not liking is just the textures. If I come down here to all my textures, and let's just start with the brown. One of the things is this roughness. I'm going to make this very rough. So let's see how that changes. There's shiny, and there's rough. I'm also going to take that specular and turn that. Ooh. Let's go 0.5, is that, where is that? Yes, where that was in the middle. So 0.25. Let's take a look at that. Let's look at that through the camera. And I want to be able to see some of that, but not too bad. Yeah, 0.25. Call that good. So same with the green. I'm going to bring down, make that totally rough, and bring that specular down to 0.25. I'm going to do that with all of these. I'm just going to add a slot here and just grab the black, do the same thing. Well, actually the black and the gray and the yellow, let me just remove that. Let's see, black, the blue will stay. All the rest of that can be a little bit reflective, that's fine, but it's mainly just this mountain. Yeah, I think it looks better. We'll do this, yeah, that should have got the tree as well. So again, I'm going to grab the tree, I'm going to grab my ground, I'm going to just, oops, go F3. I'm going to go object, scatter objects, right down through there, right down through there, right down through there. It's kind of up to there, kind of up to there, kind of up to there, kind of up to there. Then we'll hit enter. Okay. I like that a lot better. Kinda, at least I did. Let's try that one more time. I'm still not quite, where is my camera? Let me get my camera. I'm gonna move my train back. Get it through the camera to the middle. Okay, try this again. Grab that, all object, scatter objects, come down through, come down through, come down through. So you see how I keep making mistakes, then I go back and I try to make it look better. It's really hard to get this stuff perfect the first time. Let's try looking at that through the camera. That is way, way better. Oh yeah, I like that. I'm going to come into this view. You can see this a little better. In fact, I'm going to go right into my camera view. Object. Scatter objects. Don't want them. So now let's take my scatter settings and the radius. Let's bring that down. Oops. That and that. Object. Scatter object. Let's try that. I like that. Object. Scatter objects. Let's bring that radius down even more. Object. Scatter objects. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay. Let's change our renderer back to Eevee real quick and just take a look at it this way. Let's give that a render in Eevee. Booyah. That looks very good. I'm going to call that good. So actually, we just need a sky. And all I'm going to do for my sky is just seriously all I'm going to do is I'm going to make an add a mesh. We're going to make a plane. I'm going to move it back here. I'm going to rotate it this way 90 degrees. I'm going to scale it huge. So now when I look through my camera, I can see the plane. Actually, I need to set the clipping of my camera. It is starting to clip. When I look through there, I can't see anything back there. So just like we had to set the clipping here in the view, we have to do the same thing. The clipping of the camera. So we just grab the camera, come down here to the camera setting, and it has a clipping. Again, you just add another 0 right there. Boom, now I can see everything. Okay, so I'm just going to grab my sky, which is just that plane, grab my material, I'm going to make it blue. And that is it, done and done. Now we're going to go render image. And we're done. That looks halfway decent. Alright, see you buddy.